Alrighty, YouTube says I'm live, so I must be. Hello and welcome to anyone watching. This is another Grand Vault dev stream, and let's just get right into it. Switch my monitor focus here. Right, so just gonna open up our development room level. And here we are. So where we last left off, I was building the condition system and just making things work, and now, so in this instance, I set the parameters to have two party members set up based off the game's understanding, not just my preset input. So that's a good step towards building out the party select menu. But for the time being, I can preset it to either one or two party members. And now that we have two, you can actually see how this works. So I set up a pretty quick debug. You can see how it's costing the condition over time of the two different party members, alternating between the two. So it works, and when one party member is completely expired of their condition gauge, it just taxes the remaining ones. And then when it's over, you begin to get to your danger states, and then eventually you'll collapse. So that's essentially working in its full entirety. We'll come back to that in a little while, but before I can continue with the condition, we have to update our status system here, our status screen, along with the character index as well. These two would just need to get updated to work with the new condition stuff. So I built some icons, so built and acquired some icons for a status effect, so I'm just going to import those. What do we got here? Icons. Yeah, here we go. So I'll just grab these, very simple and rough icons, and we'll just apply them here. And I believe they should all be PNGs, I think. What I do want to do is, yeah, PNG, perfect. Yeah, pretty simple stuff. The first thing I always have to do when importing PNGs, if you want transparency, is to set the texture group to UI. And I'm gonna have to do that for all of them. I can't edit them simultaneously, can I? Nope. Yeah, you can see, for poison, paralysis, ice, all those different elemental effects. I just threw some icons together real quick. Okay. So, okay, here they all are. It's all saved. We can continue here. Step one will be to just update this index card. Now, we need to create space for the condition gauge here. It's kind of an essential piece of information that players will need, right? So, imagine you're playing and you want to pause. In addition to the character index widgets for your party appearing, as it should, so you can at a glance take stock of your characters, your party status. It should have the condition level in detail here, and it also should display the status effects of those characters, which is why we imported a few icons. So let's look at this border stack here. Yo, what's up, Julio? Just saw your message. How's my audio levels? Is my volume okay? Is the music too loud? Let me know. Okay, so we got a vertical box for our stats. Resources. Inside of there, we have two vertical boxes, one for gauges, 1 for stats, we have text block, and resource headers. So what we'll need to do is add a, just going to duplicate that, Control W, oh that only works in blueprint nodes, copy and paste it in, and we're basically going to change this bottom one to CP to represent, to notify the player that condition points. Should be pretty obvious though. Yeah, checkout. Definitely don't want any conflicts with the versioning control. If I go to the size box, we have width override and height override. This can be tricky. I just want to make sure I'm structuring all this correctly. Yeah, let's use a size box. We probably want more width, but it's tricky. We don't want to actually exceed this amount, but I do want to put another container, maybe a uniform grid panel to stack icons depending on those characters' statuses. Yes, so we could do this. Not ideal. Here's a quick check. This is 51 right now. If I go to 45, I actually quite like it like that, but it really should not be part of it. It should be in the overlay, I want to say. If I just want to have maximum control. Yeah, closer to... That should be fine. In terms of render transform, then our size box should... Whoops. Wrong direction here. Okay, that should be cool, as long as the text block is behind the progress bar, which it looks like it is. Back to our stats here. We can basically control this so that it ends just above, which is the degree of control I was looking for earlier. Okay, so text CP, this is never going to change. We need another value here. So I'll paste that in. And we're going to need another gauge here. And I suppose we'll copy another spacer. Interesting, I used spacers before. Usually I prefer... Whoa! Not ideal. Okay, well, don't mind the inconvenience. Julio says he does not hear any music. Well then, maybe I'll just have to turn it up. So, there it is, almost open. Yeah, let's restore those. Let's just grab our tabs. There we are. No! We lost our changes. Alrighty. Well, let's grab this and shove that here, where we know its rightful place is. We'll pop this to 70. Vertical box. Size box. There it is. Set this to auto. And then we can overwrite the height. Okay. Just above there. Should probably save after having a crash. Hopefully we don't have any more of those. Interesting that padding has been applied to, well, it's not even... Copy and pasting will preserve those attributes, which is fine. The text, CP, and our progress bars. We're going to copy that into this vertical box, and give it its rightful name. Oh, and, okay, you know what? Actually, we need to get the border as well. Alright, so border, CP gauge, and side. We have the variable component, progress bar CP. Now the spacer has 1 and 10 in terms of the offset size. I guess I'll copy and paste it for consistency. Let's just grab it and move that up 1. So now we have this kind of setup here. I'm not loving it. I much prefer padding. So top and bottom 5. Whoops, not that much padding, too much. Okay. So we have these 3 gauges. Maybe, I prefer it to be a bit chunkier, to be honest. UE5 was a bit too aggressive. Yeah, that's more in keeping with the established aesthetic. Let's change to red. Maybe a nice orange, reddish orange. Yeah, something like that for at least the time being, just so it's easily distinguishable. So, right, and the next step, you know what? First, let's get the CP actual function registering. I don't want to start at the main screen. Yeah, so what I was saying was, I want to, you can see CP for both characters are registering as basically nothing, just default. They're just visual widgets or components that are left at default. They're not being adjusted to reflect any data. So it's not preferred at all. That needs to be fixed, and then we'll look into adding in those status icons. Strange how small these are. Oh, it's because these aren't deleted. Spacers still exist. So now if we play, yeah, it's better. Cool. Over on the graph, let's see what's going on here. We have set data. That's probably the function we want to adjust. We have the text block name, set the background image, colors. And then here we have the all-important data that's being pulled, where the stats are being pulled. And we do have condition points to display. So we have HP, TP, and a data table for EXP. So let's make some space here, because we are, I think we can copy and paste all of this. This is going to be our CP data. And we'll grab a new execution pin, hook that up here. Oh, glad you like the music, Julio. It's pretty jazzy. It's actually composed by our friend Steven, who composes most of the music for Grand Vault. Okay, so CP level is not necessary for the index widget. What we do have to do is set the text and set the progress bar like such. Okay. So for condition points, here we go. And for Maya, we grab. Oh, actually, we grab that one. Yep. For Vance, we plug that one in. So now both characters are going to their respective structs for that data. And actually, in that same way, we have to pass these through to get a current CP divided by their maximum CP. Nice. One last detail that does matter for the condition points is, whoops, wrong key. Okay, cool. Yeah, they have the accurate data is being displayed. What I do want to grab is the color. We want to set the color that the gauge is supposed to have depending on the condition level of the characters. Similar to how here you can see that the second gauge is green for Maya. Primary character right now is Vance, is white because that's his. I just say signifies his condition level, just kind of neutral. Whereas Maya's a bit improved, so it's green. We'll see, green level and neutral level. And we can quickly sort of grab that code from the HUD. Yeah, you can see the default widget here. Yeah, so condition signifies setup, set color and fill opacity. That is correct. That's the one we want. And we want to grab this as well. But first we'll grab that function, bring that over here, and we're going to go grab that macro. Actually, all we need is the select, because we have the same struct being exposed in the index. Let me close this. We shouldn't need that anymore. We may not even need this right away. We'll see how much time we have for today's stream. We may get into the pause menu, or updating the status menu of the pause menu. So the index that we're using is the condition rank. But to be honest, we need to select this based off of So it's a little weird. Based off the party menu. So for Vance, we'll plug that into his current condition rank. And for Maya, we'll do the same. So that basically, we want to populate the color correctly. We define what the color ranges are, and we index that by which character we're checking for. And then we can grab the appropriate struct. Whoops. That's probably important. Let's plug that in right here. Should probably save all. Oh no, we're good. Okay. Let's do a quick test. Yep. So, yeah, little misleading. Not misleading. It's correct. It's just, you know, green, yellow, green. But in terms of programming functionality, it's all there. Cool. Right, and if we, you know, where our condition is being depleted, you know, adventuring, we're getting quests done. It's not really oh, I see now. So that pause menu, or the status menu, is, or sorry, the indexes are pulling this information from the game instance, like I thought, which isn't being updated because our character's stats are being depleted on the exploration mode character. So I'm trying to think of a quick way around that. Perhaps, not perhaps, but I think I'm gonna jump around here a little bit. So we'll go to our characters, parents? Nope, protagonists, there we go. And we have here our event for opening the pause menu. What we probably want to do is update our values on the game instance so that it's consistent with the changes our EM character has undergone or has kept track of. So we have a function here that gets party member stats. So we could probably reverse engineer a function out of this. Let's just oh, you know what? I'll make the function on the game instance itself. That way, any widget can reference can call it without reference to the EM mode character. So on our game instance, we have a few functions. Let's make a new one and call it get party member get party stats from EM class. That makes sense. We have our exploration mode reference ready to go. And like I mentioned, I think I'm going to copy this over and reverse it. Don't think we need that stuff. Yeah, game instance reference, we got it. So probably we already have an array of the party member stats. And it is base off of this sequence, so we are going to probably need these references. So we have an array of stats, and we have, well, it's not crazy. We don't even have to break it, actually. But we will have to switch. So we'll get a copy. That should be fine. And we're gonna switch based off of that. And we have our different character classes. Right now we have only 2, Advanced and Maya. So we can, with relative ease, just set her core stats or her primary stats. Yes, primary. We're going to plug these in like so. And to be honest, they should feed just like this. And that should effectively update everything. Let me make a note here. Update this function when new party members are created. And maybe we'll make it bright red, so it's like, whoa, this must be important. So, in terms of initializing HUD, we don't need any of that stuff. None of this is important. Or that. Or that. So it's a way simpler function than I thought. I think that should work. Let's just test this out. So, you know, I should have 25 and 35, which are correct. And if we, you know, apply some stress to our character's condition, nothing. Oh yeah, of course, I'm a goof. That function used to be called somewhere, and it is right here before we open the pause menu. So yeah, we open the pause menu here. So let's grab our game instance and call getStats from EM class. And this should, oh nope, that's close. Don't want to mess up our beautiful code. Let's try calling this update stats on GB underscore game instance. Alright. And there we have it. Beautiful. Good to see those are working. Now, we can continue with the task at hand. Check out? Yes, I will check out. So back on our index, we have these adverse statuses. I think I already imported them. They should be saved. Status effect, perfect. There they are. Those lovely icons. Now, what is the best way to implement them? I think perhaps a horizontal box would stack them all across the top, which could be alright. we could use the uniform grid and stack these icons like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or, you know, across to a limit and then also stacking below, which is also probably okay. Which way is better? I couldn't tell you. We have stats, we have a horizontal box here, so inside our size box we have a vertical box. We could wrap this in a right, yeah, we could wrap this in a horizontal box and then stack in our next component. Just trying to think how many status effects we have in the game. Why is it? Oh my god, it's so small. Okay. We want to overlay. Wrap with we can put horizontal box here, and you can see the space. If we wrap that with a size box and with override, we should be able to make more space, which is not what I wanted though. Why does it do this? Maybe because our size box is not permitting it. Here there's a limit. Yeah. So if we say this is the, I don't love this. Can we undo without crashing Unreal? Now let's replace it with child and bring that back out to here. Oh, interesting. If we create, 250 pixels worth of padding, probably 180. And from here, that's better. So we should have a space sort of like this, I think, for adverse status effects. Now, what's interesting is, oh shoot, this is gonna bother the crap out of me. Let's fix it. Okay. Horizontal box will, I think it will be adequate. Let's use a uniform grid panel instead, and delete that. So we have a uniform grid panel, and I'm going to call this status effects. States. Status effects should be fine. We're going to need it to be a variable. And to be honest, we're going to force this on for now, just because applying the status effect is more of a combat issue, but I just wanted to include this because we're already in programming the character index, and it'd be nice to include the status effects. But the dynamic functionality of it will be completed at a later time, but we can set up the initial framework for it. So after we get all of our core data, we're going to have another sequence, and leave that down there for convenience. And this is going to be set status. Maybe adverse status. Let's compile and save everything. So we have our primary structure for our characters that has their, stats, things like that. Each of our characters also has in the game instance, they also have core stats, which are, strength, defense, all that kind of stuff. But, and it's not here yet, but it is implemented in the battle system itself, is basically a struct of sorts to control status resistances and character states, right? So we can see, true or false, like is this character applied the burn status, or the poison, heavy poison, silence, blind, etc., right? You can see all this checks and balances. Like this is just collective of the character's state. Essentially, we need to have some of these in place for advance, and my or any character really. So you call advance underscore struct state. Is that what it's called? Yeah, character state. Well, status effect as a struct. Status effect state, and we will change the variable type to be of that struct. Status effect state. There we go. We compile, and we should have all the data. So let's just, for example, say in the game instance, just set it as advance is applied with the burn status. And since that's where the index draws from, it shouldn't be all that hard to get that. So, we can go advance, status effect state, whoops. We'll get that, and basically, we get a uniform grid, status effects panel, and we're going to add child. So this isn't great. This is looking for a widget. Can we insert, no, 2D? Pass child, remove child, get child. Let's add an image. Can you make an image like the same way you make? I was thinking of creating, like doing a select function similar to how we get the stats. But we could also build this in a way where, for instance, image is just applied here. nice and tight, 32 by 32, and we basically, you know, grab the burn status effect, come back here and apply it. Whoa, not what we wanted. 32 by 32, right? Cool. Look, we're burning. You can imagine that this is enabled or disabled, depending on how things go. So, let's get a name for this. Fire effects. Nope. Burn. So image burn status effect is a variable. Perfect. So we would come back over here, and we're going to have to break this now. And whoops, not what I wanted to do at all. We want to branch and basically check. We want to check, hey, is this guy burning? You know, is Vance on fire, basically? And if it's true, we would do nothing, but we would remove from parent if it's false. Something like this. But we do need to set a select so we know which character to grab. Vance is the one that exists right now. Oh, why can't I click on this? Okay, that's better. I was afraid we're gonna get a crash. So we grab our select, we shove our party member index in there, and then we know to check. Oh, for burn? Yeah, obviously check for Vance. If it's Maya, well, it's set as false for now. Save all. And if we go into the game, yeah, we can see the fire effect is there, applied to Vance, and it's not for Maya. So the functionality is there, it does work. However, we need to make a few more notes on the game instance. Build function or add sequence to get party member statuses. Hold on, adverse status effect. Structs here. This is a battle mode character. We want to be here. Actually, now that I think about it, this might actually be done automatically after the battle ends, because we update the stats and experience. So we would also update the status, affect the characters there. Maybe it'd be a different function that would be called. so that it can be called from and called by itself. Okay. Now we can add a whole bunch more of these. Just start pasting them in and assign their columns and rows. So this is column 1, column 2, whoops, not row 2, column 2, column 3, whoops. Yep, it is uniformly spaced, definitely. Let's keep on duplicating these. So we got 4, and this one's column 5. So now each one is on its own element. Cool. I think, well, to be honest, I want to maintain the order of all this stuff. 2. Sorry. We want this to be 0 and burn effect to be 2. And I'm just going to move that down here. Okay. And we can replace all of these with their appropriate I think it's water, ice, or water, shock, ice, poison. I know exhaust is first. I want it to be consistent with the struct order, the sequence of these, so that it's very easy to check. So, you know, burn, water, shock, for, okay, and poison after that, which is cool. Yeah, so we got exhausted. That actually has to be first. I should probably draw these at this size and then update the images so that future icons don't behave so annoying when I insert them. So I have to change them manually every time. Okay, next up was water. After that was the paralysis or shocked. Then we had the ice one. Whoops. Getting ahead of myself. And after that, perfect. Poison. Yeah, you know, green bubbles are usually a sign of disease. I wonder what disease that's supposed to represent. Cool. By default, these are all set to false, I believe. And we're only checking for fire at the moment. There's for I'll call it soak and status effect. Shock. Oops. Poison. Underscore status. And the last one, which I skipped, is exhaust. Status effect. Cool. Last but not least, it's the most important one. I'm trying to think of the best way to macro this. If we use the switch instead. Whoops. Let's get all of these. Exhaustion, shock, soak, we got burn, poison, and frozen. Okay. What's the sequence? Something like this, right? For the time being, we're going to no matter what, remove all of these from here, because I'm not gonna really check for them. And the one we want is exhaust. We can duplicate this and hook it up as Maya underscore. So now she has a set for herself. Let's turn burn off of both of them because we already tested the functionality. We know that code works fine. Now on the CP cost, yeah, this is basically the result of the last stream. Of this system that will deplete CP alternatively between party members or individually with a single character. And once the characters have no CP, it cycles to the next available one. Now, the tricky part. So right here, what we have is, you know, lowering condition points by 1. We're checking if that's been depleted to 0, and if it has, we set that character as invalid for condition costing. When this happens, we should be applying the exhaustion state to these characters here, if you follow what I mean. However, we're going to have to bring in the numerator our party member index into this function in some way. So right now it's calculating everything with indexes, with integers, really, and that works perfectly. But for the the singular purpose of party member stats, yeah. So of the party member stats that's here, we don't have any way to identify the character itself. So here's where we create the array for the primary stats that we use in the CP cost function. And there we have the information. It's right there. We need to find a way to pass that through. It could be a simple array like this, basically holding a duplicate. Well, it could be very simple. We could promote this to a variable here and call this, party members. And now we have a nice easy reference. And back on our function here, we can, once we have that party member index, we should be able to, gotta make some space. So if true, we update that so that character cannot be costed anymore. But also, we grab our party members. We do a get. Actually, we don't need a reference, we just need a copy. Get a copy, and you use that index. And then you use a switch. We don't need this print string anymore. And from this switch we will basically get our game instance. Actually that's absurd. I need to find better search terms. We're gonna get our advanced stats. Status will be better. You can set this. So this is not gonna be all that elegant. It's gonna be a lot of wires just because it's a struct. We're gonna get the same thing, and essentially I have to collapse this at some point. Let's just bring this down here. We're gonna break and make, or make and break this, with the exception that exhaustion is going to be set to true and every other status is going to be preserved. So like I said, not a super elegant structure of wires and pins, but because we're using structs, we should be able to boil this into a macro. so we're not doing this for each and every character. Set s underscore status effect state r set exhaustion. Cool. In and out. From here, we'll grab status effect state Maya, and we will do the same. We're going to set hers, and we're going to use the same macro to empty all the stuff out, change it back in. Here we go. Reroute these together. That way, no matter which party member we got, there we go. Maybe we can move all this over. Trying to keep some semblance of organization. I mean, now that I think of it, this could be made into a macro as well. So, sets status exhaustion to true. So let's compile, save, and those should be good. We're gonna have to actually have the control set in place. Yeah, the characters are pure, and if we apply exhaustion, so now Vance should have that. Yeah, he's got the icon. So upon seeing it, it's not a great icon. It's hard to read. It probably needs to be replaced, and now we know that. But it does work. Oh, strangely, Maya didn't get flagged as exhausted. So it's not working. I wonder why that is. Status effect state inside the macro. Oh, it should. Be. Well, I think I'm gonna call the stream here. Hopefully, tomorrow's stream we'll have this all sorted out, and I'll have a really cool system to share with you guys. So, until next time, thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and I don't know how to end any content, so I'm just gonna wrap it up here.